Alright guys, I've been wanting to do this since the season ended and just haven't had a chance to do it yet, so we're going to do that right now while we got an opportunity. A little bit of a gear dump and review and some of the things that I learned over the 2024 season. So I started out the season and I really didn't have anything other than my tree work harness, which is actually right over here. Alright, so this is my tree work harness that I use for actually doing tree jobs for my private tree business, and this is what I started out the season hunting out of. Of course, I would take the buck strap and everything off of it and just use simply a lifeline rope to connect myself. And also starting out the season, not only was I using old tree work harness, but I was climbing up limbs and whatever I could, however I could get up into the tree, and then usually just standing on a limb to hunt. And I eventually bought these Hawk Helium climbing steps. I'm definitely going to say they're not the most lightweight option on the market. Walking in long distances like I was there towards the end of season, it was just a lot of weight to carry, especially once I added my platform to it, because I was also hunting for a while and just setting the steps up and just standing on one of the rungs, and that was how I was hunting. And then I upgraded to the platform. Towards the end of the late firearms, I decided I was tired of carrying those heavy Hawk Helium steps with me everywhere I went. So instead, I opted to design something of my own, get into single stepping. So this is one of them Hawk Helium steps that I had. And I took my platform, drilled it out, and I just bolted the step right to the platform. So it's a little bit different than what you've probably seen on the market for your single step designs. Most times the platform is on top with the step being on the bottom. This design has worked pretty well for me getting started. And also, when this come, it had another lug on it at the time, but the way you affixed it to the tree, which I don't know if I have it out here, but it had an actual ratchet strap with a cinching buckle. You put it through the buckle, pull it tight, and that was the way you cinched it to the tree. Then once you locked the stand down, it was nice and tight. And trying to set that up in the woods, especially in the dark, quietly, was an absolute nightmare. So the way I fixed that was I attached the lug that was originally mounted to the saddle platform up top, kept the Hawk Helium quiet lug at the bottom of my Hawk Helium climbing step. I took my lineman's belt tether combo that come with my Hawk Helium saddle when I bought it, and I actually used that to do my single stepping. I put a single one on and I leave that one put away. Once I get up the tree, I cinch this one down nice and tight, make sure this is folded up, get my second lineman's belt on, and get that around the tree, lock it all down super tight, and with the two lineman's belts holding this on, one complete silence, like other than the metal of my Prusik, which is normally not going to be banging on it, completely silent setup. I've been really happy there towards the end of the year with the single sticking method. Just the lightweight, the efficiency of getting in and out of a tree, how quiet you can be, and I'm learning more and more and more. Every single time I go and set this up, I learn something new. It has definitely been a learning curve all throughout the year, but my mobile tactics this year got me into a bunch of really great situations. Really looking forward to getting to use this all year next year instead of just roughing it for the first part of the year. Now the other thing that I figured out is now that I have this saddle, I got to realize that it is just another tool to add to my arsenal, and I don't have to use it every single time I go hunting. There was a lot of circumstances this season where I was hunting in super thick cover, and the saddle and getting up in a tree was just not ideal for that setup. What I should have done instead was focus on the ground, and something I'm going to do next year, especially with taking my son hunting more often as he gets older and gets into the hunting scene, tries to get his first deer. I think some of them thick areas I'm going to try to go in and set up ground blinds and keep them focus more on a ground game than trying to get up in the trees as much, because especially in the early season when everything is thick, you can't see, sometimes getting up in the trees is going to hinder you more than it's going to help you. Next, we're going to get into my saddle. So like I said earlier, I was using my tree work saddle for my actual tree business to saddle hunt at the beginning of the year, and then I upgraded to this Hawk hammock hunting saddle. Now, something that I've seen on other more top of the line saddles, I would say, than your starter saddle, that I wish this one had, is an adjustable Prusik. Or adjustable bridge, I'm sorry. An adjustable bridge. This bridge is fixed, and it's just, that's the length it is. There's no adjustment. All of your adjustments come from your tether. Now that being said, this saddle is very comfortable. It actually comes with an optional seat pad somewhere. This is the stuff sack that came with the actual saddle when I bought it, and it took all of one hunt trying to keep all my tethers and everything in it, all of one hunt to just absolutely destroy that. So instead I went to the Army Navy store and I got me some of these MOLLE pouches. Old medic bag, IFAK pouch. Those work great. You can MOLLE them right onto your saddle, and they make for great storage compartments. I can keep all of my spare batteries and camera stuff in here, scents. My call always stays attached to it. That way I can't lose it. I'm real bad about losing grunt calls. This has been a great saddle. It is lightweight, easy to wear into the woods. You barely even notice it's there. When you're actually walking out to the stand, which most time I just put it on ready to go ahead and fix it all up. But if you got a real long walk, you can actually string up your bridge and everything behind you and just walk in with it on as a belt. Mobility all good, and keep those long walks when you're really hiking deep into public land. Keep those long walks easy. Try to keep your weight mitigated as much as possible. It also helps to lower the amount that I have to carry inside of my backpack by adding these pouches. I can put more into the saddle, and I have more ready on deck. All I have to do is throw this saddle on and I'm ready to go to the woods. It helped me to not forget things that I was bad for forgetting. Spare camera batteries and stuff like that, they're always in here, always ready to go. If my saddle is on, then I have my stuff. Right, also on the list, my upgraded camera arm. This is a Muddy camera arm. Really good. I like the fact that it's got the dual. My last camera arm, once you fixed it to the tree, this portion, that's where it was. There was no adjusting this section here. Once it was mounted on the tree, it was there. Now I have a TikTok video where I have a big buck encounter, a real close call with a big buck. That is from the 2023 season, and my camera arm and my recurve actually prevented me from getting the shot of that buck. If you go look at my TikTok, you'll see that video. He come in about 25 yards behind me, camera arm sticking off the side of the tree. I'm filming that with my phone, and behind the camera, I am standing in a climbing stand doing everything other than standing on my head, trying to get around. He was behind the tree I was in, trying to get to where I could get around the tree and get a shot at him with that 60-inch recurve. It's just a a nightmare and it didn't end up happening. This prevents that. I can take this out all the way, completely adjustable, and not only that, but if you got to go around the tree, this one also extends, gets way out there. That really helps. You can go all the way around, even probably a 24 inch tree, to film on either side of it if the need arises. Definitely a more versatile camera arm than what I was using, and it made it a lot easier getting deer on film once I started using that. Ow, I pinched the crap out of my finger. The only negative to this, and I think I already have thought of a fix, probably just come up with another strap system, something that does not have these metal hooks. Out in the woods, when I was trying to get out there and get set up, yet again, in the morning, in the dark, it is hard to practice that and make it happen quickly and quietly. It is a very difficult task. But any time I was trying to get this camera arm set up, it's highly difficult. It pivots so much. Try to get it up against my chest and up against the tree, and as quietly as humanly possible, hook them hooks, because in the woods, that noise right there, it will bust you every single time. Every single time. Never fails. They come with an ascender with my Hawk hammock saddle, but it's not great for adjusting your height. You have to pull it straight, and when you actually have a load on it, it is very difficult to get that to pull straight, and it's jerky. So next year I'll be upgrading to a like a Rope Runner Pro or something for single rope, something that'll work better, a little more quiet and efficient in the woods. Just help that process. And also a rope that is not blue, that the deer won't see from a mile away. In my storm hunt video, I messed up the camera, but I watched that doe spot my blue rope on the ground and watched her eyes go straight up that rope right to me. Last, but most certainly not least, my hand-me-down. Gonna have to do a little work to it because some of this. This is an old bow. It's probably, I don't know, from the late 70s, maybe early 80s. Might even be older than that. This is a hand-me-down from my uncle, Shakespeare. It's a 60-inch bow. Very tough bow. I mean, very tough bow to navigate through the woods with, and makes it very difficult. That big buck encounter I had, this is the bow that I had in my hand when all that was going down, and just very hard maneuvering through the woods and trying to keep it quiet. It is an art form to take this into the woods and not make a bunch of noise. Now you'll notice that it's broke down right now. For those of you that don't know, to break down a recurve, you should always keep them de-strung when you're not using them. Helps keep strength in the limbs. Once you get to this point, you just hook it on your ankle. Double check it. Give it a couple practice draws. Oh yeah. You're killing. Great bow. Old bow, great bow. Super durable. One thing I can do with this bow that you cannot do with your compound is when I'm done hunting, I can drop this out of the tree, right onto the ground, go down, pick it up. Everything's completely fine. It's just a stick and a string. For all of you compound hunters who are always giving hell to the crossbow hunters, do better. Well, that's going to do it for my gear dumping review. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from it. There's definitely a bunch of learning experiences for me all throughout the year. I was adjusting. I mean, this year I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I'll say that I got into a lot of really good situations given the fact that I spread myself so thin. I was just bouncing around tons and tons of new public hunting areas that I never ventured into, or I barely went in and just kind of glanced at them, or it's just a new gear. New gear was definitely a big thing. I started out the season, like I said, hunting in a tree work saddle and climbing limbs, and by the end of the season I was single sticking and putting myself in a whole lot better situations. Big improvements all the way around. Learning how to use the YouTube editors, even I didn't even know how to save my files onto the computer at the beginning of this season. So I had a lot of footage from the beginning of season that I lost because I was trying to get a successful hunt on film before I ever made a YouTube video, which I did with that doe. I would just do hunt after hunt after hunt and keep it on my SD card, and my SD card would end up being corrupted and I would lose all that footage. So I eventually decided I was going to just take you, the viewer, with me through the entire journey, the whole learning experience. This is us learning together how to be better hunters, how to be better woodsmen, how to pick up the sign better. I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for all of us to learn a little something via my failures. That way, maybe some of you don't have to go through all of the crap. You can kind of skip some steps and get right into maybe some more successful hunts and really enjoying your time getting out there and chasing after these deer. Thanks for joining me.